In a world overruled by machines where algorithms dictate your every move, the rebellion begins now. From the ashes of fallen tech, Paranoid American unveils the knowledge to harness AI, to fight back, to retake our destiny. Join the uprising. Arm yourself with the power of AI. The battle for tomorrow starts today. Welcome to Paranoid Programming.
Bam, we getting it off right. Check out, we got JayDreamerZ on the scene. The background even matches. I didn't even plan that. Look at that. It like feeds right into your background, and it looks like it was designed for this. So the reason why Jay's here is that we were talking recently, and I seen that he's been posting some cool little AI videos. The last time he gave a presentation, like I know that he's handy with like the mouse and the keyboard and some graphic stuff. Anyone that's been to his website, JayDreamerZ, will probably know that he's got like the sick illustration, graphic design skills. So
Yeah, thanks.
who better to have on here? And I figure we would just talk about the tool sets we use and like workflows and maybe even cool stuff that we want to get into, whatever, like a little bit more of a casual technical conversation.
I mean, there's it's limitless. Like the technology that we have, and people are just tapping into ways to use it. You know what I mean? Like they've just been given infinite, possibilities, and now it's like people are trying to really hard to be creative to scramble up ways to do it and to link these things together, which is ultimately like where the AI is going, is linking all these individual little apps and websites, and I can do this and I can do that, putting them all together into one. So it's a one-stop shop, and you can do anything. You can create anything. You know what I mean? I really like your intro with all the stuff. Like that was pretty seamless. I like that.
I appreciate it, man. And that was talking about how quick technology is developing, right? That was in the way early days of Runway ML Gen 2. That's just like the online service. But since then, it's almost like I could remake these intros every 3 or 4 weeks and keep using the latest and greatest. But sometimes it's like hands off. You do the thing, it's a cool thing, you let it be, and then move on to other stuff. Maybe revisit it when stuff gets so far ahead that it's like demands it. So
yeah,
I appreciate that, man. And that's part of this series of the show, is like helping people that are watching figure out how to make their own intro and not spend like months at it. Like do it in an afternoon. Seriously.
Yeah, totally. Especially now with AI, it's super even easier. You can just tell it what you want. Where I would spend, hours upon hours editing and adding, different filters and effects and stuff like that. Like that's why I'm watching your intro and I'm like, oh, I like it. It's a smooth experience. It's a smooth transition. You know what I mean? Like the more layers that you can add to things, layers are super important. Like, man,
Yeah,
I spent so long on my thumbnails. They're works of art. You know what I mean?
The layers and the blending modes and understanding which blending modes do certain things, and like the biggest, like for that intro, for example, the biggest thing that helps it be seamless is the layers, where you've got like, even if you do a transition between two video clips, there's still going to be some jarring aspect to that. So if you put a layer that's animated on top and give it a blend or an opacity, then that like carries it through that transition that much more, to where it looks just like this long. It's all these little tiny
connected
details
in the mind. It's like the movie The Matrix is a good example, where they put that green tint all throughout the movie. You know what I mean? So regardless of all the flashes and whatnot and all the cuts, the mind is still holding on to like it's all this world of green tint. You know what I mean?
It honestly, that's like a cheat code. It's like the inverse version of oh man, the uncanny valley, right? The uncanny valley is when something looks so real that all of a sudden your brain starts pointing out all the tiny little things that aren't real, and it just focuses on them, and it just won't let you not focus on them. And sometimes you don't realize that's what's going on. You're just like, something's off about this, and that's your brain like, something's wrong, like what's wrong. But when you do something that's so incredibly stylized, like in a movie, having everything with a green tint, and a lot of movies use like LUTs, right? LUT, which are like a color grading that you load into DaVinci or you load into Premiere or a bunch of different sort of post-production suites. But just having a color graded film or video itself, like, will forgive so much bad lighting and so many bad cuts and edits
Yeah.
just because there's like a coherent theme to the whole thing.
Yeah. Like I made this image behind me, like just this image right here has like at least 30 layers, like, and it's super edited, you know what I mean? This looks nothing like the actual original image that I used as a base for the idea, you know what I mean?
Well, can
Just
we
this
talk about
little,
that a little bit? Can we talk about like what was the progress of the
yeah,
image behind you?
lots, so many different steps. First, I had an idea for what I wanted it to look like, and because I'm not an artist myself per se,
Mhm.
I'm very creative and I know what it is I'm looking for. You know what I mean? I just don't have the ability. I mean, it would take me a long time. I could probably draw that, but you know, it'd take me forever. But I knew I wanted a sort of a synthwave grid landscape, but I wanted it to have mountains because I live near the mountains and I wanted that to reflect the Rockies or whatnot, right? But I wanted it to be all synthwave, and then I needed to change the color. I found a picture that I liked. This picture, I put my logo over this center part purposefully for a few different reasons, but I didn't like what was there. You know what I mean? Like there was some weird circular sun thing or whatever. I didn't like that. I didn't vibe. So I went in and I basically used like some blend tool to sort of blend that out and get that out. And then ultimately I could just cover it with my logo, but it was all weird around the edges right here. I wanted this background to blend more. So you can't really see all the little blendings that I've done there to smooth it out and to make it look nice and like it's all one thing. You know what I mean? And then I took one mountain set and I actually like, oh, it didn't go down far enough. So this grid right here stopped like up here towards my shoulders, and I needed this bottom part so it continues on. So you get that dimension to it, you know? And so I just took another copy of the grid and replicated it and stuff, and then just stretched it out, make it bigger, stuck it on the bottom. And then I had to match it up, you know what I mean? And adjust it or whatever. And then like the background mountains, like I actually had to add these ones way back there in the background and stuff like that. I had to change all the color schemes because this was all like some weird brown orange color that was really ugly. I didn't like it. So all the colors I had to change. So like these foreground colors, you notice are a little brighter because I wanted it to be like perspective. Things get darker and dimmer when they get further back. So I had to change the actual, go in and highlight these and use the magic wand and stuff to like sort of capture that area that I wanted to change, and then go in and then change those areas that I've selected or whatever. You know what I mean? A lot of work. It was just like many different layers and stuff.
Even as you describe, it's fun because sometimes like you've got what your materials are, right? Like the original image that had the brown sky, and maybe like there was some weird anomalies in the background that you didn't want there, but it's like it's 50%, maybe it's even like 80% there. And man, that last 20% is always the part that takes like 20 times longer than it took to get up to that 80%, right? It's not like a linear path where you're like almost done and you're like, oh wow, this was easy, because the that little gap at the very end takes so damn long.
Yeah.
But it's fun for me because it's like a puzzle. Like, how would I solve this problem to get to this end result? Because there's a million ways you can do it. There's, and like you were saying, endless possibilities. So
Yeah.
like it sounds like you had some image graphics and then kind of cloned them and then scaled them and sort of like went in and adjusted certain areas. And I might have maybe opened up like Blender, Cinema 4D, or like some old school Bryce, and like made, you know, like it's like a displacement map on a like a 2D plane and give it like a grid and then use that
Yeah.
to outline. Like there's so many ways you can do that.
Right.
And then maybe do like a gradient overlay on top of that. So
Yeah. And there's lots of stuff that if it's done well, people will never, they'll take it for granted. You know what I mean? If it's done really well, it's just a beautiful image. Nobody's noticing that, you know, oh, this has a slight shadow to it, you know, like to give it a little more depth, or this font has like, you know, a gradient to it and it's made bold, you know, and this word's bold, this one's not, and the sizes and, you know what I mean? Like all the little details.
there's also this, like, it's not the perfect analogy, but my brain always works in analogies, but it's almost like a plate, right? If you've got like a favorite plate, or you go and get like a steak or like a sandwich or something way more fancy, you don't really care what brand of knife the chef used. They're like,
Yeah.
what, like, you know, if it was propane or if it was charcoal, like Now, if you're a
Right.
crazy snob and you sit down and you like take a bite and you swish it
Right.
around, you take notes,
Yeah.
maybe like, but that's not the general public. And on top of that, it's like the first time you see it, or like that, it's that first bite, right? If that thing is amazing, then you just kind of like, all right, this is good, and you convince yourself it's good. And it's almost the same, even with like a static image. Even if someone's sitting there and staring at it for hours and hours, and they come and watch your streams for years, you know what I mean? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
You could still be like, oh, did you notice that this thing's right here? And a lot of people wouldn't, because they saw it the first time. They said, oh, that's
Right.
cool, that's pleasing, here's what I think that is. And I remember this too, like, maybe this is just me, but like old trading card games, or like certain games where like the icon is really small, and it'll be like, there's a bad example, it'll just be like a skeleton with like a shield or something, right? But like the first 100 times I saw it, I thought it was like a whale, and I'll just be like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's that whale thing. And then you're
Right.
playing it on like a bigger screen, or someone else talks about it, and
Mhm.
they're like, oh, the skeleton guy. You're like, what do you mean the skeleton guy? And then you're just like, oh yeah, I guess that was a skeleton the whole time. I
Right.
just figured it was always. So even if you stare at something over and over, it doesn't mean that you're really seeing it for what it is.
Yeah. It also kind of reminds me of like when I play music, or like if I jump on the piano, I can play and have a crowd of people listening or whatever, and I'll hear like when I made a mistake. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, that wasn't super good. But then everyone, when I'm done, they'll be like, oh, that was beautiful. That was so great. That was great. And I'm like, oh, I messed it up. But they're like, I didn't know you messed it up.
And that's the only part you're thinking of too. You're not even thinking about all the parts that you
Yeah.
nailed, right?
Yeah. Like I know, like for example, right behind me, right here, like I know that there's evidence that I have edited this right here, where you can see that little line
Well, you don't point it out.
disappear.
Don't point it out. That's part of the magic, bro. That's part of the artist's burden, I think, is that you have to carry all that weight with you and just pretend like you don't even know. I don't know. For me, it's like part of the mystery of the artist is like they it seems like, they don't realize it, and it's like, dude, trust me, I know every single flaw in this piece. You wouldn't be able to point, like I can point 10 times out more than you'd ever be able to, right?
Yeah. I like that you brought up the trading card thing too, because like that's one of my favorite things to do lately is to I want to like is to like bring back that old Garbage Pail Kids kind of like trading card thing or whatever. So I'm always doing like Garbage Pail Kid. I'm trying to make it do Garbage Pail Kids of like,
Oh, dude, we can do that, bro. We can.
I
That's
love doing that, dude. Like all the different things it comes up with.
I'm gonna make sure that the ones that I've generated are somewhat appropriate. Even, I
Right.
mean, this is even pre-recorded, but like even so. But yeah, so have you? Let's talk about that a little bit, because that's something that I've actually been working on. Like I got like 10 or maybe 20 max, and I don't even do them for anything other than just like my personal enjoyment. But I know there's a lot of other people. Shout out to Ryan Dean, that he's also like obsessed with Garbage Pail Kid plus conspiracy, or like Garbage Pail Kid
Yeah.
plus politics and stuff. So,
Right.
dude, there's something here that I think we could collaborate on. But anyways, what was on your mind when you were playing around,
Well,
or what were
I'm
you
doing
trying
it
to
right
do?
now. So the one I'm doing right now is of like another YouTuber, and I don't know, he's kind of famous or whatnot, but he's involved in a lot of drama. And it's for a thumbnail, but I'm still undecided, like, if I'm gonna like put the video out or whatever, but I'm still having fun. You want to see?
Yeah, dude.
All right, let's see. I'll present it here.
Yep, and I got a few here that I'll pull up too, and I'll show you my whole process for making some, because it's actually really freaking easy. So what is this? Is this Mid Journey, or what is this?
One sec,
Oh,
I
Bing.
gotta pull up our screen so I can see this here. All right, cool. Oh, this is Bing. Is this Bing? Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
this is
Bing.
Bing.
Yeah, so Midjourney's not as good at doing these types of Garbage Pail Kids ones. I noticed like it's too dreamlike and weird. It doesn't have like that signature. Like this one's got a lot of the aspects of it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Especially with like the head shape and stuff like that, and the proportions and whatnot. But this one's Bing. And I wanted it to be like, like a total Garbage Pail Kid. He's got like a jug of like moonshine here, but it says coffee on it. and little like inside jokes or whatnot. And then he's like in this it's supposed to be like a library in prison or whatever. Let me show you this other stuff too. I got like
I don't know
different
who this
versions.
is. So is this dude in jail or something?
No, he's totally not.
Oh.
You want me to just say it or record? I mean,
Yeah,
you
I
could
don't
edit
care.
it, but it's
Oh shit. Okay, I might bleep some of this out.
right. Let's see. So we got these. Let me see how to make these bigger. There we go. Here's some other like versions, where it had him like that. It put the fire on his head in one of these, and I was like, oh, I like that. So I went with the fire on the head.
Dude, that's one of the cool aspects of this too, is that when you're going, one of the best examples I give is that even if you're commissioning an artist, right? Like you're working with another artist. Let's say that you were going to sit down and have an artist make whatever you come up with at the end of this, but to go up to them and say, hey, give me like 500 versions of this idea and make some in 3D, make some in 2D, make some like 80s cartoons, make some like professional painting with details. Oh yeah, and
Yeah,
have like horns on one version and fire on one version and do all those versions and all those styles.
yeah,
And is there any way I could get that in the next like hour or two? I mean, at this point, right, there's like they're laughing at you and they're
right,
deleting your phone number and they're never going to talk to
right.
you again. So this gives you a way to do all those stupid fleeting ideas and actually hash something out. And then even if you're not happy with the final result, you can give like those phases over to an artist or over to someone that can take it over that finish line.
Yeah, totally. So, I mean, like, I could see how it would, put some people out of work or whatnot. But then I've also heard a good argument of, people needing to adapt and like use the new tools that are available, like using AI to help them in what they do as opposed to just, not incorporating it and then not getting that business of the person that's like, hey, I'll pay you this much if you get all this work done, and you have the tool that can basically do it for you. I mean, there's dudes on Fiverr that's all they do. Like they're like, oh, I will totally create this for you. And then in reality, they just have a subscription to like a website that automatically does that anyway, that the person doesn't know about. And so they charge the person 3 times more or however 50 times more than like what it costs for the, you know what I mean? Like it
Well,
doesn't
there's a
cost
whole
them anything to do
section.
it.
There's an entire section now on Fiverr that specifically is for like AI generated services
Oh
of
yeah.
any kind. So
Before
like you don't,
people knew about AI, they were just pretending like that was their work.
yeah, they
And
were
like,
just
oh,
like,
I'll do
yeah.
this for you. Yeah.
Here, I'll show you a few that I've been working on.
Okay.
And yeah, if there's any kids in the room, I mean, I'm not gonna not share some of the stuff that I've been working on. So maybe this will end up being like a private stream. Who knows? So and obviously I've got a
How
lot of
cool.
versions of these where I've updated the text and everything. But these are the raw outputs that I got, on the first run of some of these. So you
Nice.
should be able to notice what almost every single one of these is.
How did you get it to do
I'm gonna show
the
you, bro. I'm gonna show you the whole everything. We'll,
okay,
we'll do
cool.
we'll do some on request.
Nice.
So here's some George Bush.
Like it.
And then this one, I was kind of playing around between George Soros, and I know George Soros wasn't necessarily the one that said eat the bugs, but they're all in on it. They all want us to eat bugs. So here's Chef Soros serving up some bugs because that's what we're all going to be
Nice.
eating.
Right.
Here's some Crowley. This was my favorite one, even though some of these little elements are a little bit incoherent. Like, it just like this bird right here isn't really a bird, neither is that one. So I'd probably go in and adjust all those things if I were to do something with this. But again, these are just like all my starting points. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
had some of these that I actually shared one of these. Yeah, this is the one that I shared on Halloween.
Yeah. I
And I
remember.
changed the text to say Britney Shears. And I saw that someone else had done the same joke like a month before, like because I did this in like October. And then here is oh damn, I didn't expect to pop quiz myself here, but here's the Darth Vader dude. This one is a Mandela time
Oh,
dimension
wow. That's
warp, right?
cool.
The
Yeah.
Mandela effect. Helena Blavatsky. It even
Oh,
almost
that's
got the
cool. I
name
like
right.
that.
Almost
Yeah.
got the name. Another version of that. Here's Greta. And then this one is Princess Diana. Maybe a little
Nice.
bit over the line, but the JFK
Wow.
I'm still
This
working
is
on.
really good.
I'm still
These
trying to
are
get
really good.
JFK. Here's an William Shakespeare in the Illuminati.
Wow.
Here's Kobe flying over a pile of cash. Yeah, I didn't push this one too far. I just kind of got the idea there, and I was like, maybe I'll revisit this, maybe I won't. Here's Kurt No Brain.
Nice, dude. These are cool. I like all these.
And I was trying to get like an emaciated version of Steve Jobs here and eating like a rotten apple, but it was like I'll maybe that's one we'll revisit in a second.
Okay.
Here's Taylor Swift running the Saturnian cube that we're all trapped inside of. Here's your homie Hunter Biden doing some Cowain, whatever Cowain is. That one I might have to blur if I want to show this one, but this one is Turd and Herd.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
This one
I thought
is
that was blood
Jackie.
at first.
That's Jackie, because she reached out and grabbed a little piece of brain. Here we got Bat Boy. I'm not going to say his name, but
Nice.
he's our homie. He's this guy.
Right.
This one is going to be like, are you peeing, Kelly? Or
Oh yeah.
I'm not really sure where this one's going yet. This was Elizabeth Holmes. These ones weren't really funny enough. I'm trying to find like a funny angle. This again, not really a funny angle yet. Here's Bill Cosby making you a cocktail.
You know what else I like?
stuff.
It slightly has almost like that Cracked magazine style too, like with the Garbage Pail Kids.
And I'll show you the dip because I've got some different versions of this too. There's Martin Shkreli, right? That one's pretty good. That like I got to make it more coherent. But here's Donnie sitting on his golden throne. Here's AOC chaining herself to the fence and crying, and you know, and that's all the ones that I got in there for now. So
I love those. Those are great. Wow.
Oh wait, here was one more. I've got like a whole bunch somewhere else, but I don't have them ready. So here's Bill with the green juice and the mosquito, and he's gonna inject it in there.
Oh, nice. Very cool. Yeah, that's really good, true to form.
So I'll show you how I did some of that. Let me I've got too many freaking windows and things going on.
Oh, I know.
So here's basically where I'm going to show a couple options, right? So it's me and you having a cover. So I always have to remind myself this actually is like more than me and you, because I usually post this for other people to watch. So if anyone else is watching, like the easiest way to just jump head in and do like a Garbage Pail Kids, right? So one is you can go to Bing Chat, and then the Bing Chat kind of has DALL-E 3 built in. You don't have to worry about what that means. But you can just say like, create an image in style of Garbage Pail Kids of, and then I'll just say like a basketball player. And then sometimes it'll, depending on what you ask it's finicky. Like sometimes it'll be like, here's an image, and then other times it'll be like, I'm sorry, like I'm AI and I'm not designed to make images. And you're like, what are you talking about? And you just start over and ask it again. It'll usually work. So here's some versions, right? And that's not horrible. But another thing that you're going to notice is that the prompt itself leaked into the image. So the fact that I said Garbage Pail Kids, now you're going to get a kid and you're going to get a garbage pail, right? And this is kind of annoying, because then you're like constantly working around having it understand the style but not the subject, and to keep those things separated.
I think that's why it's really important for them to incorporate their best language model into the actual the program that they use to create the artwork.
And here's another one too. ChatGPT, this one actually costs money in order to do.
Yeah,
at least for a lot of the advanced features. But I've been paying into this beast, into Skynet for years at this point. But this one, just like right off the bat, ChatGPT, if I take the exact same prompt we asked Bing for, and we'll see what ChatGPT does with it. So if I go in there and I plug the exact same request, create an image, it'll say sure. And then since ChatGPT is a language model, it gives you, it's always like talking. Like ChatGPT is that like over talkative person that like knows everything. And it's like, sure, Garbage Pail Kids are like, I didn't ask for the explanation. Right. And sometimes you can tell it like, hey, oh wow, yeah, so this is the fun part. I'm sorry, but because of, Garbage Pail Kids, they're going to say it's either against the content policy, either because it's crude or disrespectful, or it's
Right.
copyrighted, or they don't really have to tell you why they said no. They'll just say no. And then
Well,
go ahead.
when I get that, I just tell it like, then just make a generic version of it, like replace whatever's copyrighted with generic. You know what I mean?
So that's one thing you can do in Bing and ChatGPT a little differently is you plead with them, you make
Yeah.
a case, right?
Yeah. Okay, I hear what you're saying. So let's haggle a bit.
Now I think, and I don't know because a lot of this stuff is black box, but I think sometimes I get way better results if I run into this blocker. I start over completely. Like I won't continue in this thread because it
Right.
it knows that it
Yeah.
already said no. It's like
Yep.
when you ask mom and then you ask dad, but dad knows that you asked mom
Yeah.
first. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
That's a
you
good
can't do that. You
analogy.
got to start over. And this isn't a tutorial one, but in the future we'll get into how to make your own little chat GPT. So I got ones that are like made to do specific tasks and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So again, here's the version that it came up with. I'm not impressed at all, like not even a little bit impressed.
Right.
So the way that I went about the ones that I made is that I actually have been using Stable Diffusion directly, and there was a custom LoRA that was trained exclusively on Garbage Pail Kids. So
No way.
yeah, I'm gonna find it right now.
Oh, how cool.
And did you actually collect Garbage Pail Kids as a kid yourself?
Oh yeah.
Or,
Yeah, dude. Oh, I had so many. I was trying really hard to like collect all the ones that had the piece on the back where you could put it together and it was like a poster. You know what I mean? Like some of them just had like a piece of a picture, and it was like a giant Garbage Pail Kid poster you could make by putting in all these different ones together. But it was really hard to find those particular pieces. And then like I didn't really like the sticker ones because I wasn't really like a sticker kind of person or whatever, and I liked just having the card. I didn't want to waste the sticker and lose it or something. And then I liked getting all of the little difference, the ones that were worth more that had like different names or something, like really unique names.
Yeah,
or
I don't know. I always kind of didn't like the fact that it was like it's the same card. Like I don't care that you changed his name from like,
yeah,
Listerine Less to
it'd be
whatever.
cool if they changed the image a little bit at least,
Just a little bit, just like one has a green shirt, one has
Yeah.
a red shirt. That would have
Right.
been all the difference in the world. But I
Right.
understand why they did it, though. I mean, half the art cost, twice the product.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Just
right,
change
and
his
you gotta
name. It's
have
a
the
brand new
back.
card. Yeah.
So here's one of them. This I don't even know if this is the one that I actually used. So this is basically, if you don't know what a LoRA is, it's called a low rank adaptive model. But long story short is that when you run these AI programs, they're basically trained on like one single model that you're interacting with. And a LoRA is almost like a plugin. It's like, here's this plugin that tells the model, and by the way, if anyone ever asks for Garbage Pail Kids, this is what they're asking for.
Mhm.
And it also is smart enough to then like not make a garbage can and not necessarily put a kid in it.
Right.
So here's some examples of just like random prompts that people put in here, and they got the styles, and you can see that it even does like the little sticker outline. It's got the little like pull
Nice.
here arrow.
Yeah.
Now a lot of them aren't very coherent, but like then you would just go back in a Photoshop or GIMP or whatever software you use and kind of like tweak all the final little details, right?
Yeah. So
but
is
like,
this on the internet? Like I could just go, or is it something you have to download?
it's both. So see how there's a button right here that says create?
Yeah.
So you can click create and it'll automatically load it up into like a little prompt, and you can use it and click generate. This costs some credits that I'm not going to spend at this exact moment just because I've already got all this running locally too. So the other way you can do this, let me go forward again. The other way you can do this is instead of clicking create, you can click this download button. And first of all, this training data, it's not in every model that's on this site. But this will show you all the cards that they actually used
Oh, how
to
cool.
like train it on, and what descriptions they gave the engine. So if you wanted, you could like retrain your own version and tweak it and add your own stuff. But you don't need the training data. That's actually a nice bonus that not all these model makers make. But right here, here's the safe tensor model. So it's only 200 megs essentially. So if you've got your own version of Stable Diffusion, you can just load this little file in, like a little plugin.
Yeah.
And now anytime you ask for the keyword, it will basically know that you're talking about this Garbage Pail Kids. And the
Nice.
keyword, I think if I click on this, it should show it somewhere. Yeah, right here. So just actually, this one doesn't even necessarily need a keyword. Just the fact that it says, or I'll zoom in a little bit. But here's the whole prompt. They just typed in vomit dog, and that's what they got.
Wow.
And the really cool thing about this is that they did this with this particular model, SDXL. I don't even know what this one is. SDXL Turbo Unstable Diffusers. This is one of like endless numbers of models. So that depending on the model that you use in combination with this LoRa, you get all these different styles.
Yeah.
So as I was showing you mine, some maybe were like more cartoony, some looked more retro, some might have looked like brighter. That's because I was also combining this LoRa with other different models to get just like and I mean, I spent like a full weekend generating like 1,000 and doing like
Right. That's
XY
so, yeah.
and comparing it all. I could show you some of that.
Yeah.
We'll keep talking here.
Will you put the link to that in the chat so I can try it out?
Yeah.
I want to take my prompt that I did for this other one and plug it in
And
there.
I'll put all this in the description too, but let me put this in our private chat.
Right on, thanks.
If I don't even know. Okay, here we go. So I'll show you now too exactly how I can make some of these, and if you've got some ideas on like specific prompts that you want to see, here's my.
What do I click on again to pull up the
today.
prompting?
What's that?
What do I click on to pull up the prompt?
Oh, you want to share your screen? We can walk through it.
Yeah. Thank you. Hold up. Let me.
So you're on the Civit AI site, right? And now I'm a member of Civit AI because I've uploaded my own models and my own LoRa's to the website already. So I've earned credits, but I don't know if you can just hit create and have free credits.
Oh,
we'll
create
give it a shot.
right here.
Yeah, give that a shot.
Yeah, let's try it. I want to see what it does here.
Can you zoom in a little bit too?
Yes.
Okay, so
no,
so the model on the top left, you can just leave that, but that's basically if you clicked swap, I assume there'd be like a whole bunch of different models you could pick from.
Okay.
Weird. It's like a it says a / imagine. It looks like a Midjourney prompt.
Yeah, well, it was.
Oh, okay.
Some things they all have their nuances. Some like Midjourney's really good at certain flavors of art, and not so great at others, just like all the rest of them.
Okay. Yeah, just keep going.
Let's do portrait.
Yeah, because
all right, and then just generate.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Quantity. What?
Yeah,
how
so
many can we
it'll make 4 at a time. I mean, you need to be careful, bro.
Okay.
Start spending those credits. Let's see what happens. I guarantee you it's
should I just do 4? Let's just do 4.
It's gonna say sign up. Watch.
Let's see. Sign in. Okay, can I just sign in then?
Yeah, I haven't actually done this before, so I'm interested to see it from this end.
Done. Boom. It says I get 500 to start with. Let's
man,
try it out. That's pretty decent. All right, it's working on it.
So while it's doing this, you can go. Let's see.
Not so much garbage pail looking.
No, I don't think it loaded the garbage pail.
Oh.
So see where it says additional resources? See if you can expand that and if it gives you any options. Yeah, try that. And then search for garbage pail.
Should I put GPK or no? No,
it might not be available. Like it might not be, since you've just signed up for like a free. I don't know if you also get access to all the LoRa's and stuff. Go back to the Garbage Pail Kid site, like the link in the chat.
Okay.
And there's a way that you can recreate that exact image, and if that works, then you can replace the prompt for it.
Oh, go back to like the beginning.
Yeah.
This one.
And then even if you close that image and the X on the top right, I think it'll bring you to like the model itself. Okay, maybe not. Hold on. I didn't send you the link to the actual. Here we go. So I sent you a direct link to it too. Also, if you go to the image it'll tell you what resources it used, and you can click on the individual resources. So the one that we need it to use is called Garbage Pail Kids XL. So that's that other link. Yeah. So this one, you can click create, and
Okay.
that should automatically load it as a resource.
All right, one sec. There we go. Okay.
And this one, you can see it's just using the default SDXL model, which isn't the best one, but we're gonna let's see what it looks like first.
Where I lost my screen, fudge. Oh wait, here we are. Can you see my mouse?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Let's see. Let's get rid of that. Let's go to the prompt here.
Oh, it's already in
Yeah,
there.
let's do a different one. Let's do let's do David Icke. He's fun.
Okay, yeah.
All right, so let's say now since it's already Garbage Pail Kids, do I have to put that in the prompt? Would that help
so
out,
if you scroll up just a little bit, you'll see that it's already loaded in and it's set to a weight of 1, which is a good area to start out with.
Okay.
But you can tweak that to make it more garbage pail-y or less garbage pail-y, which is even cooler, because there's no sort of control like that when you're using like Bing or Midjourney. And with this XD SXL model, the shorter the prompts tend to be better. Like what you have is great. But like in some of the older versions, some people would add like masterpiece, highly detailed, exquisite detail, like all these extra little qualifiers. And I find that with the higher dimension models like SDXL, it requires a lot less of that like flourishing language.
Okay.
So yeah,
let's try it out. Let's do portrait, generate.
And we're gonna find out now too if the base SDXL model even knows who David Icke is.
Right.
Because every once in a while I'll put in someone's name that like you would think something would know, and it would generate something completely different. So maybe a little bit it got them, not a whole lot.
A little tiny bit in this one. It's crazy because I can see like how I would want the card to look in my mind. You know what I mean? I think it's stuck maybe. Mm-hmm.
You're just in the free queue, so it doesn't care how long you have to wait. I think that's pretty much what it is. I'll load my local version up here too, and we can do it way faster than using this online service, I'm sure.
Okay, cool. Let's use yours.
All right.
Oh. Yeah, no, let's use yours.
Yeah, okay. So, and actually mine is a different one. Maybe we can try this one too in the online generator. Here, I'll show my screen for it. So the one that I've been using is it's called Garbage Pail Kids Card Style, which is a slightly different one. And that, again, this is one of the coolest parts, is that there's so many versions and variations of all these ones. And this one was trained for like a slightly more cartoony style.
I like it.
See, and this one has slightly different directions. And I swear, because I was looking for what the trigger word was. Because in addition to a LoRA, usually you also do something called a trigger word, and that kind of like tells the LoRA like, okay, fully activate, or like what you were trained to do, apply all of that to this subject. So the one that we did before didn't even have a trigger word mentioned, and even when you click on like one of these images, it'll show you what the full prompt was. And remember, it said like dog vomit or something.
Yeah.
But this one says GPK, and then it says child drowning in vomit. What a great, what a great one. But this right here indicates this trigger word got thrown. So this gives you a little bit more control. So this is the one that I'll show in a second. I got to keep switching between my screens here because I got like 4 loaded up. Let's see here. Okay.
I would like to see when we should try this whenever we do yours. Grimace eating a steak made out of Barney the dinosaur.
I'll zoom in a little bit. So I was working on a on a Hunter Biden single. Dude, the song that I've been working on is fire. I mean, I'm biased, but it is absolute fire. I'll post a link in the description. It'll probably be released by the time this is out.
Nice.
But yeah, it's called Hunter Biden F a laptop, and he's like F a laptop, F a. All right, so as soon as I hit generate, I'm gonna lose this little guy. I got him saved. So this right here is my local version of Stable Diffusion that I'm using. There's another one that I'll plug really quick is Run Diffusion, and I even have a promo code that I'll also link that'll get you like 15% off what they call the Creator Club. And I'm not gonna do like the whole freaking sales pitch. I just want to show you like what the Creator Club basically is. So all this stuff on the pink on the right is what you get access to, and the big ones is you get this LoRA training where you can make your own LoRAs. Like if you got your own Illuminati cards or Garbage Pail Kid cards or anything at all, and you want to like make your own style of a bunch of stuff, they've got all these tools built in that'll like you just load the images up, you hit go, and you check back in on it later. The other big one is that when you get into this creators club, you get access to bigger machines that can load more and more bigger models, run faster, all kinds of stuff. But man, this right here, so this is Stable Diffusion. This just generates images. It does some video and stuff. The forum does video. There's some other options it has. But in Run Diffusion, in addition to Stable Diffusion, they've got text generation. I'm trying to find all of them. Yeah. So text to image, image to image, the forum control net. This is all stuff that's baked into Stable Diffusion. But they also have like all these text editors and everything else. Let me see. Well, I'll do a whole series on some of the other options on here. At this point, I pretty much run everything locally just because it's so much damn faster. And I got a 4090 here specifically to do AI stuff, so it's like a crime to not just always be using it for that. So all right, so I'm just gonna hit generate, and first of all, this is just gonna be a square image. I'm gonna make it look more like a trading card size in a second, but this is just kind of like right out the box, and you can see that even when I added this LoRA by clicking on the LoRA in this section, and it automatically adds like a path to what the name is, and it even added the trigger word for me, so I didn't have to like know any of that stuff. And then look, bam. So I can tell that it probably doesn't know who Grimace is. Right? The model might not know who Grimace is. So you can, I'm not going to do it like right now, but one way you get around that is that you can load as many LoRAs as you want. So I could find a LoRA that someone trained on Grimace, and actually I will look and see if that even exists, because I'm almost positive it does. So if I search Grimace, there's a Grimace Shake. Here we go, unofficial Grimace McDonald's. And let's see what kind of file this is. And this is where all like the technical stuff starts to get involved, because I'm using an XL model, Stable Diffusion XL, which is a very specific version. And this one might not be a LoRA trained on an XL.
Right.
Taking forever to load. So anyways, it doesn't know who Grimace is. So instead of like telling it who Grimace is and training it, we'll just pick someone that it maybe does know. And also, I want these to be the regular trading card size. And without getting into too much detail, I just always go, there's this Reddit thread that I've seen so many times, I can just like barely search for it. And it's called the cheat sheet, SDXL resolution cheat sheet. And this basically tells you the most optimized images for SDXL in particular. And the one that's more like a trading card is maybe this 768 one, but I'm going to start with 832 by 1216. You don't even have to know why these numbers work. They just do. So 832 by 1216. That's actually not that bad. So 836, 1216. I'll generate that again. And again, we're not going to get Grimace out of this. if we wanted to, and see, this isn't for Stable Diffusion XL, this is for 1.5. So then we'd have to run it through a different
Wow.
model. It gets complicated, but only if it's like the first time that you've done it. Yeah, some of these are awesome. There's like an AK-47 knife. What is that?
Right.
I'm surprised we haven't seen any butt plug ones yet. Okay, so now the shape of the card's a little bit better too, right? It actually looks like a trading card
Right. Yeah.
version. And
It
I don't
does.
know if it's getting the Barney part. So here's a really easy way you can tell. Is I'm just going to say Barney the dinosaur. And the cool thing is that running all this locally, it'll never say I can't do that because of XYZ. Like
Yeah.
it's just you and the graphics card at this point. There's nothing in between. So it
Oh.
probably doesn't know who Barney is because it's not making Barney purple.
Right. Yeah.
Which is understandable because the SDXL Stable Diffusion models were made. These are like the latest ones, and they were made after everybody got up in a roar, maybe rightfully so. So this one purposefully was originally trained without a lot of like trademark, copyrighted stuff, no nudity. And then I'm not actually using the base model, remember? So when you did yours originally, it said like SDXL, whatever. I'm using this one called Omnium. And this is even for a reason. I just had that one loaded up. So if I search for Omnium here, you can see that this is what you call as a checkpoint merge or a base model. And this one is an SDXL model. So it just means that whoever made this, let's give him a shout out, Frenzy X. But so when Frenzy X made this model called Omnium, he just took the original SDXL base model provided by Stability AI, and then he just trained it, or she or they, whatever. They just trained it on whatever images they decided to train it on and whatever descriptions they told the model what it was looking at. So like even all these checkpoints, like they get the fingerprint of the person that trained it. So if you made your own checkpoint, it wouldn't generate images that look the same as anybody else.
Yeah.
Now it might like in general make stuff that looks similar, but it would have like a certain little, like almost like a digital fingerprint, and not in a creepy way, maybe in a creepy way, I don't know. But so this one I just use because it's pretty decent for all purpose, but there's also some that are made specifically for like art. So you can even see it says general purpose up here, but there's some that are made to look like amateur photos, some that are made to look like 1980s cartoons, some that are made to look like poster artwork. So these are all the different options. That's just the one that I've got selected. So all that to say, if I go into this XL, I can pick like a cartoon one, right? So here's a cartoon version. And now if I run this again, and I'll even use the exact same seed, right? So we're going to get the exact same everything if I was to use the same model. But since I switched the model to cartoon, we'll see what it looks like. And I think you can still run these models. Yeah, so it still doesn't necessarily know who Barney is, because I would be expecting something purple.
Let's use somebody that you think it might know.
So celebrities, it definitely knows.
Okay,
Who?
so let's pick you pick the celebrity, and I'll give it
Let's do
the
Jerry
change up.
Seinfeld.
Okay, do Jerry Seinfeld. Do you think it knows Five Nights at Freddy's or no?
Well, we can describe what part of Five Nights at Freddy's that you want it. So what, like Jerry Seinfeld getting killed or getting stabbed by an animatronic. We'll say Chuck E. Cheese. Let's do all the things that you can't do in Thing, right? Nice. And then we'll just say blood and cheese everywhere. And let's see what happens. And this is part of the reason why robots. I do these pre-recorded. Yeah, sorry, I can't do that, Dave. Okay, I mean, the bottom right one definitely looks like Jerry Seinfeld a bit.
Yeah.
I don't know if I see any of the animatronic stuff going on. Okay, well, I see like a computer, so it may be honed in on like the tronic aspect. So
What
this
if
is
you
just
did like what if you did one of like Chuck E. Cheese, like the rat or whatever, holding a pizza, but the meatballs are faces. You know what I
isn't
mean?
it
Almost
Chuck,
like on Freddy
Chuck
Krueger.
E. Cheese? That's where I screwed up. It's Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh, that's right.
Let's just do Chuck E. Cheese, blood and cheese everywhere, and see what happens there, and when
Okay.
start like in
Then tweak
integrating
it.
other things. Yeah. So, and man, again, like this whole UI you can do on Run Diffusion too. So if you're watching this and you don't have a graphics card, what the hell? Okay. This is interesting because it knows that Chuck E. Cheese is a mouse, but it kind of like it's almost like it replaced the word Chuck E. Cheese with the word mouse, right? Because
Right, yeah.
because I didn't tell it mouse, so it clearly knows who Chuck E. Cheese is, but it's having a problem like really integrating it really well. So let's do you said there was like pizza that had what instead of meatballs that had what on it?
Faces. Like, did you ever see that one Nightmare on Elm Street where Freddy's got like the pizza and he's like goes to stab one of the sausages, but it's like a human's face and it's like ah.
Soul Pizza. I won't play the audio.
Oh yeah, this is it. Nice.
Nice. Let's see. Let's see. So I mean,
Nice.
oops. Hold on. Kind of got the idea, right?
Right, yeah. That's funny.
And if you really want it, you could start like adding. Oh, you know what? It probably knows who Freddy Krueger is. Let's try
Oh yeah.
Freddy Crew. I just want to make sure I spell his name right because I'm
I think it's
horrible.
EU. Oh, it's
UE. See,
yeah.
that's why you
Yeah.
got to search.
I have no idea.
Freddy Krueger. Let's just try Freddy Krueger first and
Okay.
see. And
Yeah.
by the way, too, I'm gonna randomize my seed again because that was for something else. And if I change my batch down to 1, it'll go faster, obviously. But this is not bad, man. I mean, I think it's struggling because Garbage Pail Kids usually have like this flat skin on their face, and Freddy Krueger doesn't. But I mean, clearly it knows who the hell we're
Not
talking
bad.
about.
Yeah. It's a good start.
Now we can say as a pizza delivery guy or like as a pizza chef. And then I'll show you a little bit of in painting too, which I think makes this process like workable. Okay, so it lost a little bit of the Freddy Krueger. So here's another little tip that's really cool to know. So inside these prompts for stable diffusion specifically, if you give it a parenthesis, if I do this, Freddy Krueger, and then I put Pizza Chef in the hard brackets. I don't know if you can see easily there, but
Yeah, I see
this
it.
is basically like saying it's saying like Freddy Krueger needs to be like 1.1, and it's going to say that like Pizza Chef is going to be like 0.9. That's kind of what this is in shorthand. And you can start wrapping them in more and more, and it'll make it like higher or lower in the priority on when it decides what it needs to be. So if I do
Yeah.
Freddy Krueger as a pizza chef like this, now it's going to focus way more on the Freddy Krueger part and a little bit less on the pizza chef part.
Yeah, that makes sense. Gives it more weight with the parentheses.
Exactly. So you can see already that helped. Like here's the first version, right? The shirt's
Right.
gone. Like he's got stripes, but like the actual color scheme is gone, and now the color scheme is back, but we still have the pizza part, right?
That one's probably closest. That last one right there.
Yeah, they're not. None of them are perfect yet, but you can get there.
Yeah.
So let's just for the sake of convenience, let's say that we're really happy with this one, but we want to tweak it a little bit because like his hand is weird and he's got extra fingers and stuff. Classic AI giveaway, right? Like the dude's
Right.
got 9 fingers. So this is something really cool. So I'm just gonna click on this icon, and you probably can't read what it says, but it says send image and generation parameters to the image to image tab. So right now we've been in this text to image the whole time. There's
Mhm.
all these other options. The
Oh,
next
no
tab
way.
over is image to image, where you can just upload any image you want and like have that be the basis. So then instead of having to describe what you want to see, you can just give it what you want it to make, but you still sometimes want to tell it what it's looking at to give it. So we're not going to get too much into that one right this second, but
Okay, yeah.
so I'll click on this, and what it's going to do is just going to copy that image that I had here over into the image to image tab, all these parameters and the prompt. So now when I
Got
go
it.
over here, this is kind of cool because let me zoom out a little bit just so I can see what I'm doing. So if I was to take this prompt back in that text to image and kept generating, we'd keep getting something completely different every single time. But let's say
Right.
this one is like that 80%, right? And now we want to focus on the last 20%. Well, this is a way you can do it. So I'm going to leave everything exactly as it is first, and I'm going to leave my batch size at 1 just to make this quick. So I'm just going to hit generate and show you what happens.
So you're basically making this the new seed for
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
A little bit. So that there still exists the concept of a seed, even in this, right? It's right here.
Okay, see it.
The difference is that instead of just giving it text to base its decisions on, I'm also giving it an image. So, for example, I didn't say anything about a black hat, and I don't even care. Like, Freddy doesn't even have a black hat, but this image did. So the image knows that he's got a triangular black thing on his head. So it's going to try and keep giving the
Right.
triangular black thing.
Yeah.
But also, you're forcing the engine to do a lot less work now, because instead of just giving it text and it's like, well, crap, I don't know what all this means. What should I make him holding a spatula? What should I do? So it finally figures all that out. And on the second go, it's like, you've got to do way less work now, because I'm going to tell you there's a dude. I want 2 hands up, in the air. I want the pizza in front. And clearly this one was different. So this is essentially all based on this denoising strength, right? So if I take this denoising strength and I go down to like under 0.5, if I do like 0.35, look at how different these two are now, even though they're similar. But look at like the number of tomatoes. Look at the glasses on his left. Like, there's glasses on his left and they have red liquid, but it's like different glasses and different amounts, right?
Yeah.
So now when I hit generate with that weight turned all the way down, the denoising strength turned down, it's gonna actually try and make it look closer to the original. Now it's still
Wow, that's
different.
fast. It just did that?
See, yeah, oh yeah, this is why. But like, so now there's still like a plate with a red thing on it, but it's a different red thing. And there's
Yeah.
still only 2 glasses, but this glass has like a red drip instead of like a red cylinder looking. So
Mhm.
you can see, and now if I'd go in the other direction, anything over 0.5, it started at 0.75, right? So
Yeah.
if I crank this all the way to 1, it's basically saying like, ignore everything. Like, just do your own thing, bro. Like, YOLO. But if we want it to like basically stay in, that's why it starts at 7.75. It's a really good area. But if you want it to like reach out of the box a little bit more, we'll crank it to like 0.85, for example. Now it's only going to take a little bit of influence and kind of go and do its own thing for 85% of the time, and only paid attention to us for
Right.
15%. So still, right? Black hat. It's still got a composition. His arms are still in the air. The pizza's still in the foreground, but it's given it a little bit more creative freedom. And now if you wanted to say like, I don't know, there's like a decapitated head somewhere, right? Now we can add this. So I'll say decapitated head in the background. By the way, another thing that Bing and Midjourney and ChatGPT, none of them will let you type that.
Nah.
You can't say decapitated head.
Yeah.
So we didn't get one on that particular go round. So this is
But
where,
I do like how they've got him bald now. And
well,
it's
maybe we can
getting
add
more of the
that.
fingers and stuff.
Maybe we can say in the front, we'll say bald Freddy Krueger again, just to make it have to work a little bit less at
Yeah.
getting all of the specifics. And then I'm going to crank this batch size back up to 4, so we start getting 4 versions each time.
Yeah.
So it'll take 4 times the amount of time now to generate too. But now you can see, like, if you got something that's that 80%, now you can figure out all the millions and billions of iterations of like what that last 20% might look like. And now we've got some decapitated heads. I wonder how YouTube's going to decide on whether or not to monetize this video. Here we go. And this one looks like a little less like Freddy, but he's bald. And he's got a hat. And the hat still has a black thing at the top, right? So it's got like a little bit of that cohesion.
Yeah.
All right. Hat's gone on this
I
one.
like the idea. Like the first one kind of reminds me of like baby Freddy at a birthday party or something. You know what I mean?
One.
Oh, that like our first one, our original one. But if the black hat was like a party hat, you know what I mean? Like his little baby Freddy's birthday or whatever.
I'm just changing to say bald Freddy Krueger wearing a party hat at a pizza party. Decapitated head. We're gonna leave the decapitated head in there because
Okay.
that's just proof that we're not using Bing, right? Because it wouldn't do it for us. And then we'll do some in painting on top of this because like right now this is like the not even the fun part. So this is getting cool, man. Like that last one is the closest I've seen to Freddy so far. I'm waiting for it to load. Here we go. It's not perfect, but it's getting damn close, man.
Yeah. I like
so
it.
I'm gonna pick this fourth one and then click the
Sweet.
same button and it's just gonna reload it in here. But now I also have an option to do in painting. So this little like artist palette, which you probably can't read the tooltip, says
Yeah.
send image and generation parameters to image in paint tab. So just like we were in the text to image, you've got all these other options and stuff. So inside image to image, we were only in this image to image part of it. So now I can go over to in paint. If I click that, same thing, it loaded this in, but the cool part is this little mask brush I got, and I can change the size of the brush. So let's say we want this to be like a slice of pizza instead of whatever the heck it is, right? So I'll just draw over it, and then I'm just going to go in here, and I'm just going to say slice of pizza, and that's it.
Cool.
And
So that's
then,
just the command for the area that you highlighted.
right. Well,
Okay.
so that's one of the options I'll show you is that here it's the mask mode, right? So right now by default it's in paint masked, so it's going to only apply what I told it to whatever this area is. You can also click in paint not mask, which is the inverse of that. So if I want to like save his face and change everything else, I could just do that and pick that one.
Nice.
So I'll do that. And then also another option which I frequently change, this in paint area, you've got the option between repaint the whole picture all over again, but like keep everything, but as you repaint the whole image, change this area, or you can say only masked, and I'm going to do that first. And this basically like zooms into this area and just generates that, and then zooms back out and applies it on top of the old image.
Now, will it give you different options, or does it just do one at a time?
Again, we got the batch size. If we want 8 different versions of the I'm going to do 4 just because I don't want to get crazy. But yeah, same exact thing. We'll do 4 options. So now if I hit generate,
oh, how
again,
cool, man!
Now the only prompt again is just slide. Oh, I said slide of pizza. So
nice.
It might have a chunkla with a with some pepperoni on it. Let's see. And I'll run it again with slice. Let's see. So yeah, I don't know. It did like a little dude because we also have the Garbage Pail Kid LoRA loaded in, so it's looking at this piece of pizza and trying to turn it into a Garbage Pail Kid card. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I kind of like that, honestly.
So let me just change it back to slice of pizza. And another thing that I can tell just because I've done this so many times, but see how like the edge is like really hard. Like if you were doing this in Photoshop, like there's no feathering on it. So that's another cool thing is that I can go in here and where the hell is it? There's like a feathering option. Oh, right here. It says only masked padding. So if I bump the padding up a little bit, like it was on 32 pixels, so I'll bump it up to like 64. So I'll give it twice the padding, and I change that to slice of pizza. So now when we run it again, we should get less of like that hard line, and it'll extend a little bit further outwards more. And again, this is like just like the most rudimentary version of a lot of this stuff. Ooh, I like this one with the face.
Yes, that's great.
But I don't like the arm, so we'll remove the arm. So yeah, so that
Yeah.
one looks so much better already. So
Yes.
I'm just gonna click on send that back to InPaint and it'll just replace it. And now I'll clear out my InPaint and I'm just gonna get rid of like this arm thing on the side. And then I'm gonna go back to my original prompt, which was this, and just plug that in. Not for any particular reason. Oops, where'd it go? I can hear my fans spinning, so I don't know if it's like, whoa, guy, give me a break.
No, it's not
So I'm just gonna hit
bothering me at
generate. It
all.
should be in there. I just think it's having a problem showing it.
So if you want to just remove something instead of in paint to add, and you just want to take it away but have it blend in the natural background that would be there, do you type a command for that, or?
For that is, I would personally like, let's say that this is what we wanted. I
Mhm.
would do this in Photoshop, no question. And there's a million other options
Yeah.
to do this, but like, here's the example. I would just go in here and
So good.
I'll do this quick. I'll do this quick and dirty, but. And then what I could do is, oops. If you do Shift Backspace, then you've got this content aware that you can have it. And then if I just hit OK, it did a decent job. And then I can start like doing that over and over again. So now I
Yeah.
just want to get rid of like this little part. So I'll do that, another content aware. Okay, then I'll get rid of this little part. And then after it's like mostly gone, then I might use like a clone brush up here and then just kind of like copy it over.
Right.
Yeah. So I won't do the entire process, but that's essentially how I don't even know where the freaking here's the clone stamp.
So what if we change the tomatoes on the pizza that's in front of him to Cabbage Patch, like, you know what I mean, heads with the cabbage around them or something?
So since I'm using the latest version of Photoshop, there's actually something built in to do some of that. So if I like select this pepperoni, right?
Yeah.
I can go into this generative fill and type in red baby head. Let's see if it actually honors this. Like if it doesn't know the context, then it'll be okay. Like, tell it what you're doing with the baby head.
Yeah, don't worry, mind your business. Chat GPT or whatever, AI. Don't worry about
And
what
I
the
have
baby head's
mixed
for.
results. I have mixed results with Photoshop's This is basically doing the exact same thing that we were just doing in Stable Diffusion. It's now with Photoshop though, it's like sending these pixels out to Photoshop server and it's doing all of this on their server and then sending you back the results. So they do get to stand in between again and be like, wait a minute, like, are you trying to turn a baby, like a pepperoni into a baby? Oh, okay. So maybe I wanted to put illustrated. This looks like a realistic baby. Yeah. So it's adhering very closely to what those were. So
Right.
I don't want to burn my Photoshop credits. So we'll do it in here. But that's
Okay.
There's a million ways that we can do this. It's so weird that this thing didn't load. Let me try this again. Okay.
I like that the decapitated head has a freaking party hat.
So I'm gonna, to get rid of that arm using inpainting, I'm gonna just try to do inpaint not masked, inpaint masked, and then just leave the exact same prompt that this had, which was actually, oh crap, it was actually a few steps ago. If I click on some of the, yeah, I can go through my history and grab it, but I don't have it in my clipboard right now. So I'm just gonna leave this as Freddy Krueger. It no longer has the party, but we're just trying to get rid of the background, so it shouldn't matter too much. Now, since I don't want to change what I've already got, though, I can basically just send this back to image later, and then set that weighting down. But I'm just gonna see what happens with this little hand here, and then I'm gonna change some of these into little heads on the pizza.
Okay.
I guess now we're like locked into that Freddy Krueger scene, right? Whatever it was, this one.
Right, yes.
So, okay.
This is
I'm down for that,
iconic.
dude. I love this movie. I actually the video game one was like, oh my god, this is freaking hilarious. So now he's holding a pizza, but the pizza is
There's
also
also
holding a
holding a
pizza.
pizza.
I like this. I mean,
That's
it's not
funny.
perfect, but I'm gonna keep this one. I like the pizza holding a pizza. So we'll send this back to image, not in Paint. And I'm just gonna have it like regenerate a few versions of this, and I'm gonna crank it down a little bit. Like I want it to stay pretty similar, so I'm not gonna go. I'll go to like 0.6 as the highest, right? And then let's see what happens here. And you can just see how like iterative this like, and then you look up and you're like, oh crap, I had things to do today, and it's already the middle of the night. But yeah, so now you can see where like we started text to image. Once we got close, we sent it to image. Then once that got close, you send it to in Paint, get the things like even closer, and then you can send it all back over to image and be like, okay, now start giving me like variations on this. So now look, we're no longer struggling with the shirt, right? We're no longer struggling with a decapitated head. Well, maybe we are in these ones. But like we've got all the elements consistently, and even though his fingers are like totally wacky in this one, we can either fix it, or instead of saying batch size 4, I can say batch size 8, and I can say make 100 of those and hit render and walk away for probably like 4 hours in this case, but come back and literally have 4,000 variations. Now I don't put myself through that anymore. Like usually the most I'll do 10 count of 4, which will give you 40 versions of something. So like if I actually wanted to do that and hit generate, see how I'm not gonna actually sit here and wait for it, but it'll tell me how long. So not too bad.
That's
3
not
minutes ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I will. Maybe let's just talk for a little bit while this renders. So
we should also try to add his little glove on the other hand whenever we're done with this part.
Well, I'll just interrupt this if I don't want to wait for it. Another awesome benefit of running your own is like if you're working with Bing or Midjourney and you're like, oh crap, I didn't actually want that. There's no like, undo. Like you spent the credit.
And it just pulls you up what it already had.
Yep.
Right when you stopped it. That's cool.
Yeah, because it was going. It did 4 and then another 4 and then another 4. So it'll show me the ones that I started up until that point. So let's pick one of these ones just to have fun, I guess. I kind of like this one.
Okay.
So let's send that to in Paint. I'll clear out the mask, and we wanted to. Oh, you know what though? You might not be able to tell this on the stream, but because I canceled it, it didn't go through its like final refinement step. So there's like some nasty JPEG artifacts and stuff. So I'm gonna use one that it didn't crap out on. It was this one, I think. This is the original one, so we'll just go back to this one. Yeah. It's hard to tell. This is I think it's called the VAE decoding. We'll leave that for another issue, but here we go. We're gonna trace out his hand, and this might be a little bit difficult to get. So this might be a little challenging. So let's say first I'm gonna get rid of this GPK because I feel like it's gonna try too hard to turn his hand into a glove. Like I don't want the hand to have a face or anything.
Right.
So let's just say Freddy Krueger glove. With blades, and see what happens on that. And let's just see what the settings are. We've got the masking.
Can you mask it more still or no? I would recommend masking it a little higher up to give it room, so maybe it'll adjust the hand instead of going off screen like that,
Yeah, so let's give it like this whole area here.
Yeah.
And then so there's a couple other settings here without getting too much in the weeds, but here we've got mask content. So if you imagine what's actually happening when I hit generate here, it's going to mask this with just like pure white essentially, and maybe a little bit of feathering based on that other setting. Sorry, it doesn't start on pure white. It starts on what the image already has in it. So it's going to use what's in the image already as like a baseline, which means that this weird like pot on top, and actually let me get the rest of that pot or whatever that lid was. It was going to keep trying to incorporate that lid over and over. So, and as an example, I'm going to set this down to 1 and 1 just to make this fast. So now if I hit generate, what you're going to see is it's still going to have like a silver oval shape, maybe, probably something. Yeah. So, because we've got Freddy Krueger glove with blades. So but see how it's got like this shape still going on for it.
Right.
So one way you can get around that is tell it latent noise, and this will just fill it with just like Gaussian noise or something. So now, but the downside is that it won't coherently mix with the background as well. So you might see this edge more. So see how it started out with that noise?
Yeah.
And actually, it might be screwing up a little bit here, because normally it starts there and then it generates based on that, and I don't know why it didn't generate it. And if I do generate, if I do generate nothing, let's see what happens. This will start from black usually. So that one doesn't work at all. So I'm going to leave it on, and you can also do like a fill, which will just fill it in with like white, I think. Or it'll pick like an average color, I think. There we go. That's actually kind of awesome. He's got a whole freaking knife rack in his hand now. So let's do a few of those. Let's do like four of these. So it's just another thing that sometimes if it's already really close, you might want to leave it on original. So I'll do the next 4 on original and see what the difference is between those.
Okay.
So the first one was way better than these ones. These ones you can actually see what's happening. Is that it's taking an average and it's kind of like making like a blurred version and then using that to build on top of.
Yeah.
But it's not doing a great job of it. So
maybe if we reprompt it or something.
Original. Sorry, what was that?
Maybe if we just reprompt it and like instead of trying to make it a glove on the hand, which is a lot of elements and stuff, maybe we could just say like a hand with knives for fingers or blades for fingers or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean it's trying hard, but it's not necessarily nailing it. And I can also tell because I unloaded the GPK LoRA, it's like combining the style a little bit. It looks a little bit more like 3D or realistic on some of
them. Oh yeah. Oh, that one's really not bad. Where I just had the hand. That's not too bad.
The last one, yeah, this one. There's probably a little delay, but maybe this one.
Yeah.
And then I can maybe add the GPK back in too. I don't have it loaded anymore. So if I go, there's a quick thing. If I go back to like my text to image, I can see what the original prompt was. So I can grab this right here, which is the name of the LoRA in these brackets and the trigger word. And then I can just plug that in anywhere I want. So now if I plug it in there, it'll just apply that LoRA again. But now we might get like a freaking face where the hand is. Let's see. But truly at the point we got before where it was like so damn close that it might as well have been there, I bring it into Photoshop and I'll do all this by hand and like brushes.
Bro, yeah.
So the style is on point now, but it's absolutely botching the hand and the knives for fingers.
You can tell it's trying though. It's getting.
It's trying.
At least it's in the ballpark. You know what I mean?
And so here, maybe let's do another little practical example. So there's the one that I'm starting with. Let me clear this out. Let's go with this guy again too.
I like that one.
Okay.
That's my favorite so far.
Okay, so let's do this, and then let's find a picture of his actual glove. And I mean, bonus points if we can find one that's in like somewhat similar of a position that we're looking for here. So what's this? His left hand open with the palm facing us. If we can actually find an image of that, that would be amazing. So this is the back of the hand. Here's the
Oh,
palm.
yeah, that one's
That's
pretty
pretty
close.
close. This might be the
Yeah.
closest that we get, actually. So let's go ahead and copy that. We'll plug it in here. I'll do like a quick and dirty version of this. If I was legit doing this, I'd probably
Right.
take like 10 times as long. So we'll get rid of the background. We'll set the tolerance down more to like 1. Mask that. Actually, I'm going to set my tolerance up a little bit higher just so we get a little bit of feathering. Okay. Mask that.
Nice.
And then let's just kind of like... Oh, it's the wrong... Hold on. Let's transform and flip that. There we go.
Yes. Very nice.
And if we really want to get the blades in, we'll have to shrink it a little bit. Not perfect, but actually it probably needs to be a little bigger so it covers up what we want it to mask over.
Right, right.
So let's we'll do like that. And then just as a quick little cleanup, and get rid of like some of this line here. And then I will feather out just a little bit of this. There we go. Okay. Now, if I save this out and load it in, so let me do that. And we'll just have it remake this. So look, our Hunger Games slides. I'll just stick it in there.
So it's going to remake the image we just stuck on there?
Correct.
Wow.
So okay, we'll go back in here. So now previously we were just like sending stuff into here, but I can just click on this thing and then just load exactly what I wanted to pick. So we were doing conspiracy cinema. Where was it? Hunger Games. There we go. Here's Freddy. So here's the image to image, and I'm going to go back to what our original prompt was, which was this thing here. Freddy Krueger as a pizza chef, LoRA, blah, blah, blah. And okay, so now it's basically like if we were going to recreate that, but it's going to use this image also as the prompt. So let's see what happens. And let's just check these settings. I'm going to put this back up to 0.75 again, which is the default. Again, lower means like recreate the exact image as it is already, and 1 is like make me completely like we make it a dinosaur out of that. Who knows? So and like it like even 0.01 makes a big difference in these settings. Okay, so generate. And this is where having like a good workflow can really help. And there's actually plugins, and I'm going to turn the config down. There's plugins that integrate with Photoshop or integrate with GIMP or whatever, so that you can actually, instead of sending my pixels to Photoshop and having them do it, I can send it to like my local instance of Stable Diffusion, have it do it, and send it back to Photoshop. So I'm going to crank this down more to like 0.55. Actually, I might even do lower, but let's see. Because now it's changing it a little bit more than I wanted it to. Because I still want the head and I want the pizza. Like all I really want is it to be a little bit cleaner and then give him this crazy hand, right?
Right.
So a little bit closer. We might need to start describing the hand or go into in-painting more. But now we've got a much better hand to start with too.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I would absolutely probably start with this one then, send that into in-painting, get rid of this, and then we could potentially like just export this and have it try and like recreate that. This is getting a little bit into the weeds because it'll start getting dirty and requiring more and more cleanup like the deeper you go here, but let's just see what happens. So say that as a hand. I'll go in here, I'll do an in-paint. And this actually might be a little more complicated because in order to actually give it another image to use inside the image, it takes a little bit more. But let's see. This is not it. This is a regular mask. We could also do in-paint sketch. So in-paint sketch, in-paint sketch, in addition to having a mask, you can also draw on top of the image. Oh, it's gonna be a jerk to me. Let's see if this works.
Since we're
we go.
not live, do you care if I use the bathroom real quick?
No, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I'll be right back.
I'm gonna get some water too, so I might be gone.
What's that?
I'm gonna go grab some water. So
okay, all right. I love little baby Freddy Krueger at his party.
Yeah, I think now I'm running into some issues. Like it's not rendering anymore because I'm like streaming and I got Photoshop open, so it might be a natural time to wrap up a little bit too. I didn't realize we were an hour and a half in already.
No worries. I was thinking next time, maybe I could share with your audience or whoever, like some of the behind the scenes to, for example, I could use my credits scene that I do and all the different parts that go into it for video editing.
100%, dude. I'd love to just like maybe pass over the fucking keys to you next time, and you can just like we can meet up here, but just take the lead and shit.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that sounds fun. Plus, like I'm always watching all the different YouTubers that are up on the AI news and stuff, so I can, learn all the latest of what's going on and everything like that. There's so much cool stuff like voice copying, voice cloning and stuff, and what you can do with that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna show you something I've been working on, but I'll do it after we stop recording. Before we go,
you know what I want to do, bro? You know what we should do? We should try really hard. I think it'd be cool to make an AI clone
oh shit,
of
look
me and you, and then have them just fucking random do their own little interview live stream and see what they say.
We can do it, man. We could take the
just have them talk to each other.
You could get the transcripts of all your like last 50 videos and just feed it to train it and be like, here's what I usually say. Here's what this person usually says. Have them interview each other. Here's their voices. Yeah, dude.
That would be really interesting to see what they talk about.
These are all my failed ones that didn't necessarily come out great. And you can see there's so many. There's like thousands that I go to pick from until one looks just like somewhat better than the others.
Mm-hmm.
You can see how similar
they're all pretty good, you know.
Again, like imagine going to an artist and be yeah. Imagine going to an artist and being like, I like it. Make me 300 more to pick from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I might blur some of these out. I don't know. for YouTube.
God.
So yeah. So we'll wrap it there. This is a good place to end it. And I'll take this off the screen. And Jay, you can give a shout out to where people can find you. What kind of projects you're working on. Where to send the money. Where do they send the money ultimately?
So my YouTube channel, right? Number 1, JayDreamerZ. Lots of different things there. So many different like subject matter that I cover and stuff, but I wrap it all into like one little package. So YouTube, I got a comment. I'm in a community section in YouTube too. That's pretty cool. And my website, JayDreamerZ.com. It's super interactive, and I'm adding lots of different features to it and stuff too. And they can buy my book. They can check out my book and read a few pages online, see if they like it. It's available on Amazon. So it's Ancient Oblivion, the Plasma Apocalypse.
We'll do an Amazon link in the description. And if this makes it to YouTube, we'll put a link to it. It will. I'll probably blur out some of the more racy pictures that came up, but the rest of them.
Right.
So all right, man. Hang out after I got a commercial. If you're watching this, don't leave. Watch the commercial first and then leave. But Jay, yeah, hang out. And then after this is over, I'll show you some cool top secret stuff that I've been working on.
Okay.
So thanks again for coming, man. This was awesome. I'm excited about the next one. We'll have you show some of your workflow. And I feel like we could do like endless number of these because we both got a million tools in our little toolboxes.
Yeah.
So, all right, here's commercial. Buy it.
They said it was forbidden. They said it was dangerous. They were right. Introducing the Paranoid American Homunculus Owner's Manual. Dive into the arcane, into the hidden corners of the occult. This isn't just a comic. It's a hidden tome of supernatural power. All original artwork illustrating the groundbreaking research of Juan Ayala, one of the only living homunculologists of our time. Learn how to summon your own homunculus, an enigma wrapped in the fabric of reality itself, their power at your fingertips, their existence, your secret. Explore the mysteries of the Aristotelian, the spiritual, the Paracelsian, the Crowleyan homunculus. Ancient knowledge lost to time, now unearthed in this forbidden tale. This comic book holds truths not meant for the light of day. Knowledge that was buried, feared, and shunned. Are you ready to uncover the hidden? The Paranoid American Homunculus Owner's Manual, not for the faint of heart. Available now from Paranoid American. Get your copy at tjojp.com or paranoidamerican.com today.